2022 has been so far home to some of the greatest mobile games, and technically, who doesn't like new games? Believe it or not, well, July has been perhaps one of the most amazing months when it actually comes to new releases. So basically today we're going to take a look at about a dozen new games that just came our way. So without any further ado, let's do this. At number 1, and just so we could get to the actual list of games that you can have hands on right now, just wanted to mention that we have here something called, since earlier this year, Rebel Riders by these developers called King. See, actually a story-driven battle royale kind of vehicular fighting game that's been in the works for the past few years, and technically designed by some folks who really just design toy vehicles in toy factories. So you can actually see the effort that is already there. That said, this game is already in beta phase and set to be released fully by the end of 2022. Take a look.
Spiders to bikes, whatever your playstyle, we got a vehicle for you. You'll be laying waste to your buddies in 3v3 modes like Team Deathmatch, Stash to Cash, Bomb the Base, and our very own take on a 10-player Battle Royale.
We are opening the Rebel Riders playtest, so if you are lucky enough to be in Canada, Germany, Indonesia or Malaysia, just jump in and play.
Coming up behind that, and actually sitting on the Google Play Store with only 1,000 downloads so far by Square Enix itself, we have once again Dragon Quest Builder that originally came out to consoles more than 5 years ago as mainly a sandbox role-playing, pretty similar to Minecraft, and now available for the mobile devices for the price of $28, which might seem a bit too much, but actually a game with a really good review score and a hefty amount of replay value. I think it's just pretty simple. If you love Dragon Quest games and have a controller to go, this is probably just a perfect opportunity to give the old builders a shot once and for all. Well, take a look anyway. Moving on, we've got a strategy game over here called Age of Frostfall, actually sitting on the Google Play Store only and with a 4.2 out of 5 review score and over 100,000 downloads already since just a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, it is perhaps one of the most unique tower defense strategy games, mostly tower defense though, not much of a strategy, and a lot in the same style of other games like Banner Saga, where you get to raise a dragon, build your city, train an army, recruit legendary heroes, actually a hefty amount of them, and a lot more. Take a look. At number 4, and sitting on the Play Store with a 4.7 review score right now, we have here, for those of you who missed it, Zombie Clash Ended the Worlds. I would assume most of you already know if you've been playing Clash of Clans. It's very much just taking cues from the original game, except Zombies Clash, which is, as you can see, an idle construction game with superheroes and times more addictive than Clash of Clans. You can just see the reviews out there. Overall, it's just a pretty good tower defense mobile game with some great art style, and it runs really smooth on both platforms right now. Check it out. Alright guys, at number 5, and actually sitting on both platforms with over 4.9 review scores out of 5, but only about 5,000 downloads so far, we've got something here called Cover Shooter Free Fire Games. As you can see, a third-person squad-based shooter at a score, a really good-looking game as far as I'm concerned, with apparently just a few problems in overall options where you can't really change graphics and just take it down a notch, mainly because it's really high. Well, check it out, the game's supposedly getting a fixed update in the following month. On the other hand, actually with over 100,000 downloads and on the Android devices only since last month, well, we have another free-to-play, mostly drift racing game going out by the name Race Max Pro car racing. Well, as you can see, graphically this game is on probably a whole other level. In terms of actual gameplay, it is really fine-tuned, almost console quality. It works great with a controller, it's got tons of content and a lot of different modes to choose from. Take a look. Alright guys, at number 7, we have hero Cantare with WEBTOON. Technically this has been around since 2019, but recently received a hefty amount of new content to an extent that the game is almost brand new. Sitting on the platform with a really good review score and over 1 million downloads ever since. Hero Cantare, for those of you new, is a story-based dungeon crawling, arena brawling, RPG, 1 or 3 versus 3 multiplayer with a very rewarding overall gameplay and probably one of the best gacha games of 2022 so far. Up for pre-register since earlier this month. On the other hand, we have Reaper Story Online, which is a hack and slash sort of visual novel style role-playing game that's been going around since earlier June this year. Honestly, not really much to talk about with this one, except the game will take you down roughly 3 GB of space and due out fully by the end of 2022. Moving on, we've got Hello Neighbor, now Diaries, a first-person horror game, technically one with a hefty amount of mixed review scores and tons of bugs in actual gameplay. To be quite frank, I've actually never been a fan of the series myself, but this is just a poorly designed port, so we're not gonna judge the whole thing by it. Still, the game was released last month, it's available for free, and for that reason alone, definitely worth a try, at least if you like horror games. Take a look. Coming up behind that, however, probably one of the best games to have been released this entire year. But we have an early access phase real-time strategy free-to-play game over here called Era of Conquest, with over 100,000 downloads since a week ago when it was actually released. Really one of the most detailed open-world free-to-play and pay-to-win games of its own kind that offers a heck of amount of potential so far. Technically, not really much to talk about with this one either. All you really would need to see is the gameplay, which we've got a lot of it here, and the fact that the game's releasing fully in about a few months from now. Check it out.
Soldiers, adjust your formation. We shall crush them underfoot.
On the other hand, sitting on the Google Play and the App Store as well for free since June this year, we have now, just in case you missed it, with over 1 million downloads so far ever since, Truckers of Europe 3, just an outstandingly beautiful and a well-designed and core gameplay simulation. I gotta be honest with you, this is actually the best truck simulator game out there right now with some insane graphics and customization options. If you have ever been a fan of Euro Truck Simulator, especially 2, this is definitely the one you need to try. For some reason, it's also free. And last but not least, actually just a really quick mention for your old zombie killing fans, specifically if you have been in love with the old Sniper Zombie that came out last year. Well, we have here the sequel now up for pre-register with a brand new campaign or over 100 missions to go through. That's pretty much all there is to it. The game is also coming out in about a few months, so just keep it in mind for now.